Got some more fancy stuff by Oxbeam. Got a little switch panel here they sent me. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to set it all up on the bench because the plan is to install it into here, but there's a bit of a lack of space and it's going to be a real pain getting the camera in here to film installing it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set it up on the bench, just a bit of a rundown so you know how it all works and how to hook it up and everything, and then I'll show you when it's installed in the canopy what it does. Should be cool. Let's get into it. So we've got the switch panel, which is like your main controller thing, which turns everything on and off. Switch assembly, which is where all the wires hook to, all your accessories, so you can hook 8 different accessories to that and control it. Circuit breaker, of course, to keep everything safe and not on fire, which would be cool. Stickers, they're apparently reusable, so peel them off, they just stick onto here, all pretty straightforward. Comes with mounting brackets too, so you can actually mount this panel onto here and mount it sort of on the side of things, or vertically or horizontally or wherever, so that's a really good idea. This here too is for your switch panel, that mounts on there, so you can actually mount it flush on surfaces and rotate it around and get it installed however you want to install it, which is smart as well. Main wiring harnesses, they're all heat shrinked and sealed, so you won't have any issues with corrosion. What else we got? The loom that goes from your switch controller to your actual gang of switches, just connects the two, pretty straightforward. Comes with a heap of cable ties, screwdriver, which is for in here. Pretty smart, so they actually give you a screwdriver that fits in there nicely. Screws and mounting hardware, little waterproof screen thing, so you can cover that up in case you want to go in snow or off-road or have it mounted outside or wherever, so it's all waterproof. But yeah, quite a fair bit in the kit actually. Alright, so what I've done, I've basically just wired this up on the bench here to give you a bit of an idea of how it all goes together. So first of all, you've got your positive and negative, that's all pretty straightforward. Negative, just put it to your earth on your chassis or battery terminal. Positive, it goes actually through the supplied circuit breaker. Comes with a 60 amp one. Comes with another piece of cable also. This goes to your battery. Positive terminal, we've got this little wire here, which is actually a switching wire. Basically puts power to it, which fires it up. The two options, I've actually hardwired this to my battery just for demonstration purposes. But what I will do in the canopy, I'll actually have this hooked up to my isolator switch. So when I turn my canopy's isolator power on, it'll actually fire up this as well as all my other accessories. So what it's actually intended on being used for, this wire, is you're meant to use these supplied little fuse tees here. So it comes with two sizes, smaller and a larger one. It's actually designed so when you turn your key on in your ignition, it gives power to your whole switch assembly and fires it all up. That way it's not sitting there idle when you're not in your car driving or with your ignition off. It's here, just a 4-pin plug. It comes along with a fair bit of cable. I'm not actually sure how long it is, but enough to go from your under your bonnet into your car along the dash. Waterproof joiner here that goes to your actual switch panel. So next up is basically just your accessories after that. It's got two 5 amps, two 10 amps, two 20 amps and two 30 amps. So you got options there. You just need to work out what amperage your accessories will draw, whether it's something as simple as a set of lights, rock lights, a fridge, a horn, water tank, or sorry, a water pump, or big heavy duty lights or light bars or whatever. So just work out what they draw and hook it up to the power supply that's needed. I've just got them hooked up to these two little light cubes that I've had laying around. So what I'll do is I'll flick the isolator or the circuit breaker to on, which will power up the whole switch assembly, and then I'll show you how it all works. So at the moment it's set to its default setting, so press a button, on turn the lights, all pretty straightforward. One thing that's cool about this panel too is you can turn the lights on, and the center button, the red one, will actually turn everything off. So if you want to turn everything on or everything off, it's basically a stored memory. So if the switch panel's on and I only have, for example, the left light on, you can press that button, it'll turn it off, or I press the button again, it'll restore just the left light. So it just remembers what your last settings were when you turn it all off and on, which is kind of handy. Also do is you can actually double tap this, which will bring up basically the settings menu. So once it's in its settings menu, you can actually press this button once. It'll either go blue, green or red. So red just means it's on or off, just like a normal sort of switch. If you turn it to blue, press that button again, blue is just momentary, so I actually have to keep my finger pushed on the button for that light to work, just as a momentary switch. It doesn't affect the other one, it's still off and on like standard, but this one is now a momentary switch. So I can double tap the button again, which will go back into its settings. I can go, for example, green this time, press the button again, and now it's actually set up as a strobe. Still doesn't affect the settings of the other light, but now that one is a strobe. So what I'll do, because I don't need any of those two features right now, double click this again, put that one back to red, and now it's just simple on and off, just like it was before. So now for the coolest part of this, it's actually got Bluetooth. So if you get your manual, flip it over, there's actually the QR code. Go into the camera on your phone, scan the QR code, and it'll actually bring up the App Store. Download the app. I've already downloaded it, and there we go. App's ready to roll. And then you get access to a heap more features on it. So what you can do, you can actually change the brightness of the screen, make it quite bright, or make it dim. Depends if it's on your dash and it's kind of annoying you, the bright lights, or if you have it in a dark place, you can dim it down a bit. Otherwise, I'm going to run mine full bright. You can also change the colours of the panel to whatever colour you want. You can adjust it here on this little display panel, which is pretty awesome. Depending on what's your favourite colour, you can go a nice hot pink or red, blue, green, yellow, whatever you want, or just standard white, like that one there. If you want just a nice sort of simple look, but I like blue lights, so I'm going to keep it blue. You can go into the icon setting here as well, and actually set up your icons, so you can have your switches on your remote the same as here. So what I've actually done is I've set up my left side and my right side, just to give me a bit of an idea between my left and right lights here, just for demonstration. But I can actually control my lights via the app. So for example, if I'm up in the rooftop tent or whatnot, I can actually turn my lights on and off from away from the vehicle, which is kind of handy. Or I can actually be upstairs, I can check, you know, if I have my fridge on, my fridge off, have any lights on, any lights off, or if I hear some weird sounds or whatnot when I'm camping, I can flick all the lights on and see what's around the vehicle. So super handy, you know, a lot of different reasons there. You can use it for a heap of different things. The next feature on this, I can go into mode, and we can actually change the modes here again. So instead of double tapping this and changing the toggle momentary and the pulsing mode, you actually do it here. So I can turn my left side into a momentary switch, turn the right side into a pulse switch, and immediately my lights will be set up to do exactly what I just set up, which is pretty handy. But I'll actually, you can actually change the strobe settings too. So you can turn that one on, you can speed it right all the way down, or put it right up for disco action, which would be handy if you had like an emergency response vehicle, or you just wanted some cool party lights. Really depends on what you want to do with it. Another thing which is kind of cool, you can actually go into the group settings, and I can actually edit a group, choose my left and my right, save it. You can type in what you want to call that setting or that group, press save, and now when I press either one of my buttons, they're linked, which will turn on both at the same time. So if you have maybe a light bar, set of rock lights, you want them all on at the same time without pressing multiple buttons, just group them, and whatever button you hit in that group will turn both of them on and off. Go back to the group. As soon as you delete it, it goes back to being individual again. So I hope that all makes sense, but it's a really smart little control panel. Do a lot of cool little things with it. Can be handy for a lot of different uses. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start removing my original gear that's in here, making some room, and work out where to mount it. So it comes with a few different options for actually mounting this panel as well as your switch panel. So this here is basically this box just onto the top there. So you can mount it to the side of your inner guard on the vehicle, or to a roof, or wherever you really need it to be mounted. Kind of handy. Or just use the factory mount that comes with it. Ones on the side here, they're aluminium, so they're strong as. A couple options there. There's also this flush panel as well, which can go on the back of it. That just sits basically on there. Gives you a bit more room for some bolting options and things. A couple of different options there for the actual switch panel, like the switch assembly. Otherwise, for your actual switches, has this little bracket here, that mounts to, the face, and you can tune that to whatever angle you desire, which is pretty fancy. So with the tilted bracket, a lot of people actually mount the controllers just here on the dash, wherever you need it to go. That way you can access everything. You can mount it down low here if you wanted to as well. Yeah, virtually anywhere you really need to. What I'm thinking of doing is I've got two options. I'm either going to mount it somewhere here, or with this little bracket that's supplied, I can actually mount it up there next to my fridge. Not sure yet. I guess we'll find out. Otherwise, yeah, put it down here if I wanted to. Put it in there. I don't know. Here maybe. Anywhere. Heaps of options. I could mount it flush in there. That'd be cool. Comes with this here as well, which goes on the back to give you mounting tabs at the side as well. Or you can flush mount it. It's got the screws in the back there as well, so many different options. One thing to mention as well, these stickers are actually reusable apparently, so if I put a sticker on here and eventually change it to something else, you can actually just peel them straight off, stick them back on there again, and then apparently you can do that a few times without them losing their adhesiveness, which is kind of cool. Comes with a few blanks as well, so you can get a white pen if you've got nice neat writing and write whatever you need. But apparently there's 50 different ones to choose from. There's ample lights all the way from cameras to start stops, windshield lights, whip lights, underglows, bumpers, fans, front and rear lockers, everything you really need, air compressors, you name it. So I'll be able to put all my little stickers on and get it set up the way I need to. That's probably enough talking about how it all works. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start stripping out my original switch box and use assembly and all the bits and pieces, and then get started into mounting all this. I've just pulled off the back of my nice neat cover plate on here. You can see the absolute rat's nest that's in behind it. So a lot of these wires will actually be eliminated. Looking forward to having a bit of room in here, and it'll be a nice neat little setup. I hate messy wires like this, so yeah, looking forward to tidying it all up properly. So I'm getting pretty close to actually putting this back in the car now. So I've wired up my USB outlets as well as my just 12 volt outlets. Circuit breakers installed, switch panels installed. The actual switchboard itself is installed. I've just attached a little red wire here straight to direct power. So there's no ignition source for this setup. It's just as soon as the isolator's on, this is on. So I've made it as simple as I can. So that is usually the wire that goes to your ignition, but I've just hooked it straight to power. So once that terminal's live, the entire system's live, which is the way I want it set up. Well, there you have it. Everything's basically wired up now. I've got the switch panel in place, switch assembly in place, as well as my circuit breaker. Everything's all wired up. So now we've got power to everything. Getting my fridge on, rooftop tent power. Got my amber lights up here all wired up, keep the bugs away. Also the standard interior lights, they're all hooked up as well. I've got charging outlets up here for USBs and phones and camera gear, as well as two just normal standard 12 volt plugs down the end there. They're controlled by the accessory switch, so everything's all wired up. If I need to turn everything off in one go, I press a button, shut everything down, as well as tap on it again to get everything powered back up. So press that. Water tank does its thing, which is kind of cool. That it works. But overall, really easy install actually. Didn't take much time at all compared to the original way of doing it. Everything's nice and neat. If I ever have any issues with fuses blowing or anything, easy cover to get into to check it all. If I simply just pull out a fuse as well, just for demonstration, I can press a button and it'll actually illuminate when I hit this button, telling me that circuit is open. Replace the fuse with a new one, light goes out. So really smart, really easy to detect any faults. You have to go looking in your manual working out which circuit is which. It'll just have the little red LED indicator telling you that you got an issue. But yeah, happy with the results so far. Just got a little bit of wiring to tidy up down here. We'll neaten up all that, neaten all this up here, put a bit of conduit over it and tidy it up. But yeah, happy days. So everything all works with the phone too. I'm able to change the colours of the display screen, as well as go in here and turn off and on lights easily, just with the phone. It's all app controlled, which is kind of smart. All I've got to do now is just match up my little icons on the app to match up with the icons on the switch panel here. That's really all I need to do. So just as I thought I was finished the install, I remembered I had one extra switch left, one extra circuit, and I'm thinking, what's that going to be used for? Just found it. Had this old inverter laying around that I haven't been using for a while, so lucky enough it just goes, sticks on there with like Velcro, and I'll just run this up through the bottom of the panel, hook it into the spare port there, and that button will control my inverter, and it's on the 30 amp circuit too, so it's more than enough power to fire that up. Well, there you go, another accessory installed in, honestly, I reckon under 2 minutes. All it took was just slip the wires through, connect it to the last terminal that was free, change the sticker over. These stickers peel off easy, so I just got a nice sharp blade, peeled off the sticker, stuck it down in there, ready to reuse for another time, and yeah, stuck the new one on. Away you go. Press the button, and we have power. Easy as that. Cool. Oh, that'll do for today. Huge shout out to the guys at Oxband for letting me try some of their gear. Yeah, super pumped with how their light bar's gone over here. Very bright. And yeah, this has made my life heaps easier just for connecting accessories and all bits and pieces. So yeah, keen to get out wheeling and test it all out. There's a discount code they gave me too, so I'll chuck that in the description somewhere. I'll work out how to do it. And yeah, save yourself some money.